Hello, welcome to my quick Core Present overview session. My name is Kelly Bajarski, and for those of you that just came off of the next level session with Ryan Hartman and myself, welcome back. It's been a long time. I am recording this session for those folks that are not able to join me, and we'll be posting this on our YouTube channel as well. I am going to wait about maybe another minute just so that anybody who needed to take a quick break between webinars can settle back in. But I am going to give you just a real quick overview of what Core Present is today, which is one of our one of my favorite products in the Inside Real Estate product catalog. And I love it for lots of reasons, all of which I will share with you in about another 30 seconds. So feel free to grab a beverage of your choice and we'll get started in just a minute. Okay, I'm back. That was quick. Hang on one second. Let me share my screen with you. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to my quick overview of Core Present. For those of you that, as I mentioned earlier, are joining me that popped in from the next level sessions, thank you for joining me. This is being recorded. I'll be sharing this on our YouTube channel so you can catch the replay later if you want to slow it down a little bit, speed it up a little bit. I know sometimes I have to catch my breath when I'm on a training with with Ryan because I know that he moves along. He's got so much great information to share that sometimes there's not enough time to jump in and share it all in less than an hour. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna do the best I can to give you a quick overview of what Core Present is. Just as a quick reminder, Core Present is one of our products available at the broker level. So if you are a single agent user using KV Core, you may not see this readily available in your area yet, but you can always reach out to support and ask them when it's going to be readily available. If you're part of a larger brokerage, if you're part of any brokerage, go to your broker. If this is something that's interesting to you and you think that it would provide value to you, I hope it will. Make a heavy suggestion that this is something you'd like a little bit more information about. So that being said, there's basically 5 aspects of Core Present. And what Core Present is, well, gosh, it's a lot of things. But if you are working to really build your listing arsenal and create a list of seller clients, even buyer clients, because I use this with my buyers as well, it has 5 aspects that will help you win those listings, win those offers, and really just help you overall in your presentation giving skills. So there's basically those 4 different offerings that are available. One where you can win the listing, one to win the offer, one to do an overall presentation, and one to create a buyer tour for the buyers that you're working with. So if you've ever used a CMA builder in the past, if you've ever done any type of CMA presentations, maybe you have your own slide deck that you've been using. Maybe you have your own presentation through PowerPoint or through Google Slides, and you have slides that you're using. One of the cool things about Core Present is that you can actually build those slides that you're using in an existing presentation. You can add them into Core Present. And because Core Present is part of the KV Core wheelhouse, it works with KV Core. So it actually has some integration built into it. So we're going to talk a little bit about the presentation and customization, the library for Core Present, and some of the most fun features includes analytics built in. So unlike any other CMA tool that I've used to create CMAs or to build presentations, Core Present actually takes it to that next level where you can build in analytics. So when you're looking at Core Present for the first time, and it is accessible directly through KV Core, when you do have access to KV Core, it's going to be located in your marketing tool, and you'll just jump right in. It's called a single sign-on option. You'll be able to log right into Core Present, and from there you'll get to a new dashboard where you can go to build presentations. These are the 4 offerings that we have, where you can win the listing and create a CMA report, where you can win the offer and create a buyer's presentation, where if you're just doing a general presentation, you can use the create presentation tab to do that. And you can also create buyer tours. The presentation itself, it's designed to really layer information in. So unlike old tools that I've used in the past, and I've done some pretty extensive CMAs in the past, and some of them have been pretty lengthy. I mean, I literally had to pare down my first CMA from about 112 pages. I had to cut that in half. I mean, who wants to read a library book full of information when you're, you're sitting at a kitchen table trying to get a listing agreement signed? Nobody's got time for that. So what we did with Core Present is we layered the key points right into the forefront of the presentation. And there are areas within it that you can drill down into to reveal those details that you need, so that your audience isn't overwhelmed with too much data that's not really relevant to the presentation anyway. So all of these areas in here are actually clickable, and you can drill down into them, and they're interactive. So when you send this presentation out via an email, or maybe send it out through Facebook Messenger, or take that link and add it into, whatever medium you're using to get it out there, when your users are using it and they're clicking and they're looking through your presentation, we're tracking that information for you. So now you have some really valuable consumer insight that's going to help you win those listings and really enhance your presentation offering. So there's customizations available. So there's a basic set it and forget it feature at the beginning, where you can go in and customize things like your branding information, adding your logo information, color themes, fonts, all that good stuff. You can add in slides from the presentation library, and you can use your own custom branding in there. And you can even manage the analytics. And this is what I think is probably one of the key features in Core Present, that as an agent, it allows me to really dive deep into what's most important to my seller. What are they thinking of when they're coming up with a pricing strategy? And because I have a little bit of an inside advantage to know what information is most important to them, I can better service my clients. And because we store everything in Core Present, we don't delete any of your previous presentations, and they're all rebuilt in real time. So whether you're doing a presentation today and then you have to redo or update something 2 weeks from now, we save the original one and allow you to easily click on a rebuild button, so you can rebuild it exactly from where you left off and include current information. So it's very real-time driven data that allows you to stay up to speed with what you're delivering to your consumers. And when your clients view these interactive links in the presentation sessions, they're stored so that you can understand where your client is focused on. And we'll send, so the email that's sent out, which you can email it directly to them, you can see here where they're viewed the report. So not only do we notify you when they viewed the report, we show you when they closed their last session, and we show you all the nuts and bolts in between of what they've looked at. So let's build a Core Present CMA. So I'm in my KV Core dashboard, and the cool thing about it, again, as I mentioned earlier, is that it's part of KV Core's suite of products. So when we add it in here, it's going to be available in your marketing section. So if I jump right into Core Present, it's going to open up the new Core Present dashboard, and it's going to take me into the area where I can get started. And as you can see here, I can build a presentation to win the listing, win the offer, do a great creative presentation, or do a buyer tour. So for our example, I have already built a few here. And I've built some buyer tours. I've got a CMA going for a couple of my clients. And so for the example today, let's say that Billy Madison, he's one of my favorite test leads, and I did a presentation for him. Maybe I sat down and did a listing presentation for him back in July. And he calls me up and he says, you know what, Kelly, I really thought long and hard about it. And I know I told you originally that I wasn't ready to sell, but you know what, if you could just send me some updated information, I think I'm ready to put it on the market. Great. Billy, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to redo that presentation and that CMA that I ran for you, and I'm going to send it over to you in the next 5 minutes. It's going to have the most current information on there. So I can easily then go in and rebuild the last one that I did for him. And this is going to take me through the original information that I had in the presentation, where I can go in and make any updates or changes. So if I'm rebuilding one, the information is right here. So for the purposes of this, I already have comps pulled in, the listing is in here, and as you can see here, you can make any adjustments if you want. You can pull in comps. It defaults to 1 radial mile, but I went ahead and drew a polygon search instead because I wanted to include just the neighborhood where this listing is. I'm pretty familiar with this neighborhood, and I knew that it only encompassed about this much of the area. You can make adjustments as necessary to really dive deep or expand what the comps are that are going to be pulled in. And the next thing it's going to do is build the CMA for you. I didn't make any changes to it because it already has the information in here. And then the next thing it'll do is it'll pull in any relative comps. So in this case, there aren't too many because in this area, there's really not too much on the market. But as you can see here, it's going to give me this overall big picture pricing. And the one thing that I note, if I did have any active or pendings, it would also pull it in here. And rather than pulling it in on just, 15, 20 different pages worth of comp information, it's now on a scalable presentation. And all of the addresses, all of the other influencing opinions can be put right on the big picture pricing tool. So in this case, there's a closed comp and it's right here. I can switch over to toggle between total price or square footage. So whichever way that seller's mind works better based on price or based on square footage, I can easily make that adjustment. I can pull in the Zillow estimate because some people want to see what that Zillow estimate is. And if that's the case, I can say, look, for your sake and mine, I pulled it in here, but as you can see here, this is how it's going to throw off our figures. Sometimes you can have that turning conversation. It'll pull in the average of those closed comps. And if you need to make any adjustments, you can go back and do that here. It will pull in coming soons, actives, pendings, and closed. And again, you can edit the search criteria from here. If I want to drill down on this information, I can click into the property and it'll pull the property information up. And it also includes other properties that may not quite have met that comp, but are close to it. And I can highlight those and include those on my property, or I can delete them, or I can like them so that they show up as part of the report, but they're not featured on the report. So I've included these as well. So now I've added in other prices that I think might be relevant to this comp search. So you can do this. And as you see this, and as you see how easy it is for me to build this, being able to do this right there at the kitchen table when you're working with a potential client is so easy. You could easily do this right from your laptop and build it together with the seller. And when you do this, it also gives you some basic market assessment information down here. It takes the average monthly list and sale price. It tells you whether this is a fresh listing or a closed listing. It tells you the selling pace and the price per square footage. The price rate of change. And all of these are interactive links. So I can click on this and it'll pull up a really cool little chart and graph. So all of this stuff is very interactive. It's designed to bring you the information that you need to have in a layered format so that when you're giving these presentations, you're feeling more and more confident in control of what these comps are. It even pulls in what my price opinion is. So when I'm adding these, and I'm looking at these results, it pulls in based on these different categories, including outliers and estimates. One of my favorite tools in here is the fact that it has the estimates because everybody has an opinion. So for example, it already includes Zillow. But what if Great Aunt Martha, who maybe is so close to your ear on the sale of your house, tells you, you know what, you'd be crazy not to sell this house for $1 million. You can add Great Aunt Martha's price opinion to this property report. So if Great Aunt Martha says you'd be crazy to not sell this for less than $1 million, go ahead and add add her estimate in there so it shows up on the report. And this way, visually, you can show your client, you know what, I did all of my research and I took into consideration all of the information that you gave me, including Aunt Martha's opinion. As you can see, this is how it falls on the scale of where this pricing comes in, which can either help justify or maybe, cut off at the pass any arguments you may have at the family table. So this really gives you a really good visual opportunity to be able to explain your big picture pricing. Once you have this built, you can either build a CMA only, or you can actually create a presentation out of it. Annalisa, thank you for joining me. It looks like you popped in last minute, so I am going to unmute you. I don't know if you're muted or not. Annalisa, what do you think of Core Present? Is there anything that you want to add to my little spiel here?
I mean, to me, Core Present is similar to the vein of KV Core, where we're trying to offer you a tool that is going to encapsulate that exact thing you're wanting to achieve. In this case, presenting something like a listing or presentation CMA to that user that you want to get the contract with. So that's the whole idea behind this. And then being able to build a presentation in that speaks to, what is it, traditional, luxury, and modern. And also your level of knowledge in the field of in the industry, whether you're new, been there for a while, or if you have been in the business a while, you can fine tune all these results with the presentations, as well as automate reports, tours, and all of that. It's just one-stop shop to make sure you hit all those facets. Kind of like when you're looking at the playbooks, right? You have your little checkbook on playbooks. This gives you the same outline, but for a presentation for that listing. So I think it's really an all-encompassing tool everyone should take a look at and dive into.
And I totally forgot to mention that. I'm so glad you brought that up, Annalisa. Tell us a little bit about the presentation styles that we have.
And you're clicking into these, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So basically, for your customizations, you can kind of consider your audience. Who are you going to present this to? So you've got a traditional slide deck that you can choose. You have a more modern slide deck you can choose, and a more luxury presentation slide deck. So you can kind of think about your demographic. Who am I talking to? What would fit their style of communication and my style? Or what am I representing in this home that's going to match the energy of that place and that person?
Because some of them are more dynamic and rich with their graphics and with their with the tone of the presentation, and something more traditional might be something a little bit more simple, and it might have just some basic information in it. So once you set this information up the very first time, when you go and choose and edit this, as you can see here, each theme allows you to create and customize the overall tone of the presentation. But once you set it up, now it's ready to go in your arsenal. So you don't have to go back and reset it up every single time you do a presentation, which is one of the great features about that set it and forget it stuff. And I did rebuild this this report here for Billy Madison, and you can see here that there's two versions of it. I rebuilt this one on 8/12, and now I have the choice of either copying the link for it. Maybe I want to send it over to him in Facebook Messenger. Maybe I want to text it to him. Maybe I want to put it in an email that I've already got built as a template over in KV Core. Maybe I want to go in and review the sessions for this one. So if somebody who has already viewed properties and you know that you've sent this information out to them, guess what? You now have those details. This is where those analytics come in. So you can see not only how long they looked at that presentation, but you can see how many slides they looked at, and you can even drill down into what they looked at. So if they clicked into a property and they looked at the big picture pricing scale and they stayed on this page for 4 or 5 minutes, they're clearly looking at the details information. They're looking at this stuff. So you can see based on their duration, the slides they're looking at, the properties they look at. If they click into properties, that'll show up. So if they're really sticking on that one house that may be an outlier property, you can speak to that. You can speak to that to them next time you pick up the phone and say, hey, did you get that listing presentation I sent you? And they say, yeah, I did. You can say, well, gosh, you know what? I was just noticing on that presentation that property of over on Main Street doesn't quite fit the grand scheme of things. What are your thoughts? You see how you're able to work that into the conversation? That's consumer insight that you don't get on any other platform.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's very well thought out. And we listened to a lot of people's requests and looked at what people were really seeking to stay, top of mind with technology and service. And I think this does a really great job of combining both of those efforts.
And we try to make it available in as many ways as possible. So if you really wanted to go old school and print it out, download the PDF. You could include that. If you want to send it directly in an email, it's connected to your KV Core, so you could email it out. You can delete them, but nobody on our end is going to delete them. This is only going to be
Right.
you. So we save them. So as you can see here, I've rebuilt this presentation a few times. Right from the very beginning when I didn't have a client associated with it. And then I linked it over to Billy Madison, who ended up becoming a seller lead in my KV Core. So that's one of the things I love about it, is that it maintains that integrity of keeping everything under one roof. Who wants to go hunt around for this kind of stuff?
And I think the combination of the Core Present tools and Dash CMA being part of the Core Present suite makes it even more robust. I love Dash CMA on its own, but with Core Present, it just makes it levels things up tremendously.
I think so too, because for those of you that ever used Dash CMA, this is like Dash CMA 2.0. This is the enhanced version of it that includes all 4 presentation models. It includes all the analytics. It includes that much more. So this is part of the new suite of products that we offered in the spring. I think we released this, it was about March, maybe April?
April 21st or something like that. For some reason, that's sticking in my head as a big date.
There you go.
Like mid-April.
Right, there you go. Now, one thing to mention also, because it does interact with your KV Core, is that if I go back into my KV Core platform, now on the dashboard, when I scroll down to my activity stream, you can also see that information here. I can see that Kelly Trevelyan, one of my leads yesterday, previewed a presentation that I did. And I can jump right into the analytics right from KV Core to see what it is that she was focusing on. So when I need to call, text, or email, or follow up with that lead, it's going to allow me to go back into the analytics for that lead and pull up that information. So
and just
sorry.
so everyone's aware, I just dropped the link in for the Core Spring Release features tour and Q&A into the chat for everyone. And so in case you missed it, you can jump in and see what we did release, just as an FYI.
Got it. Well, that is my real brief overview of Core Present. Just a couple last minute things to note. It is easily accessible for your clients to review. There are different ways to send it out. It's very customizable, and it is available currently at the broker level only. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Annalisa.
Yeah, so if you don't see it today and you're like, oh gosh, we really wish you had this, just talk with your broker, talk with your admin and say, look, I saw the super groovy presentation. I think it would benefit all of us, for XYZ for business, and ask them to consider it because it is added from the top down currently.
Correct. Awesome. I don't think I have anything else unless there's any questions that come in other than that.
I haven't seen any questions.
Dennis asked how much it is. I would think that would be based on what the broker package is that is available.
Yeah, that's something we really can't speak to. It's outside of our scope as trainers and coaches. The brokerage would need to speak with their account manager. So if you are the primary contact on your account, your brokerage, you can actually contact your account manager or chat with support, and they can connect you with your account manager and ask them to give you a call or check in with you. And then you can start that conversation.
Yeah, I always tell people I'm a trainer and I sell houses. I don't sell this product.
Yeah, I don't fill my mind up with sales prices usually because that's after the fact. But yeah. And then Toka saying what type of presentation doesn't provide? Well, so Toka, since you're here, you will be emailed a link to this recording that we're going through with Kelly. And then also within the chat here, I did link out the articles to what it is, as well as accessing all support articles to KV Core Present. And I think we're just about at the end of the presentation, but you will get that information sent to you.
And this is basically what one of the presentations looks like. This is one that I put together on a property earlier today, and it's just an overview. And these are very basic slides, guys. I just literally put this together in about 2 minutes. I hadn't even set up my customized slides yet, but I did add a logo here in our primary logo. So you can see here, you can add places to add your logos, and it's got the property information. This is a presentation. This one is a buyer tour. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's interactive. So if I was the consumer and I just received this and I opened up this link, this is how it would display for me. And each one of these arrows at the bottom does show the interaction. And when they first open it, you can see that it's an interactive, it's got interactive icons on here. So if there is any interactivity on that page, this little tool toaster pops up so you can see where that is. So you can see whether you can click into properties, which as you can see, you can. So your clients can click into properties and see what some of that information is. If there's interactive information on it, if it's got this little icon on it, it means there's something more inside. And so here's some examples of some of the properties. As you can see, each one of these are clickable, so they can scroll through the comps and they can see what's there.
And the difference on those banners is basically active listings. Like what are the difference in the yellow? Yeah, active listing and sold, or pending and sold, correct?
Yes, it's
From
active
green
is
to orange?
green, pending is a yellow, and closed is red or orange.
Perfect.
I guess that's orange, but it looks yellow to me. And these are red. Yep.
Well, I have a thing where I always call orange yellow and yellow orange since I was a kid, so it's all
okay.
me.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And you can see the market assessment. And again, each one of these has interactivity in it. So because it's in an interactive presentation. So, and all of this information is being tracked. So when I go to view this as an agent and I look back on this, I can see here all the different places that lead has clicked into this presentation. This is a real short one because I only included the market assessment and the big picture pricing, but you can add and enhance as many slides as you want. We have all sorts of slides to choose from in the presentation library. There's tons.
And you
of
can even
different
create
slides.
your own, right? Just
Yeah,
you have the template, blank template, and create your own.
Yep, you can create your own. You can upload your own. There's lots of things you can do to customize this. And you can even use the slides based on, again, you know, kind of the interactivity of the audience that you're going for. So, you know, again, it's just a great way to really speak to the audience on a level that's going to meet their needs. You can add in testimonials and your biopic and all that stuff. These slides are very easily adjustable. Okay,
yeah, pretty groovy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Annalisa, that's all I have for now. I do have another webinar coming up pretty quick, so I've got to go, but I hope that this was helpful, maybe answer some of your questions about Core Present. Broker not offering any discounts for individual agents, just came from a broker provided.
They need to opt in for that, yeah.
Yeah, it is currently right now only at the broker level. I know, I really like it, Rosetta. I think it's pretty cool too. Go be that squeaky wheel for your broker.
Yeah,
I mean, what I would suggest.
But potentially you might be able to get Dash CMA on its own via your marketplace. But right now the present is only via brokerage down the line.
Yeah, and Dash CMA is a great tool as well. It does offer you a lot of the basics, such as the big picture pricing tool, the interactivity, and the you know, the
outliers and all that good stuff.
and things like that. But it's only a CMA. It's the CMA portion only.
Yep.
Annalisa, thanks for joining in. I know, I appreciate that. In KV Core, if you have it, it's in the marketing section under Core Present, right here.
Yeah, if your broker's opted in, you'll see it right there.
Yeah, and if you don't see it right here, your broker has not opted in. Awesome. Annalisa, any closing remarks?
Closing remarks. I would say if you're curious about something, you can actually do hashtag management now, and we track your squeeze pages. So that released this morning. So like if you go into marketing, all marketing.
And you know what? It wasn't on there for me earlier, but I don't know. I think it might just be
it was on mine.
Yeah, it was on there this morning for a second, and then
maybe they had to fix something, but it's going to be here finally.
I know.
But basically, you'll be able to go in and edit and delete the hashtags that are relevant to you and you only. And then, and Dale's saying, hey, who can tell us what MLSs are or aren't covered? Contact support, please, Dale. They'll be able to answer that question for you. And then if you want to track your squeeze pages, you can actually jump into your lead engine squeeze pages and click into start building.
I guess I have to build one first.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't. Then you can just click history. And then there's going to be a running tally today forward of the squeeze pages you've created. And then you can just click copy link or even view it, go to your website to view it. And all of that's at your fingertips.
Which is hallelujah. Now we have a place to save our squeeze pages.
Right. And I keep
I
saying, what
know.
about landing pages? And I know that's been something they're working on.
I would
So
not be surprised if that came out
yeah,
soon, but I'm not going to be that voice. But you
right.
can copy them or you can view them. And then a little trick we talked about yesterday, which I think is a pretty cool idea, Annalisa, and I think you
Yes.
mentioned it,
Yep.
is to just grab this information and copy it into a spreadsheet. I know we can't download them right now, but I'm all
Right.
about a good spreadsheet. So
I like me a
I'm-
spreadsheet too.
Mhm.
And Rosetta's asking, what's the difference between Dash CMA and Core Present? So you can kind of think of Dash CMA is like going to the restaurant and ordering a 3-course meal, right? So it's going to have like the menu that you choose from to choose all your elements, add in the specifics. What do you want with your steak? You know, that kind of thing. And it is a whole presentation about the property itself that you're creating to speak to why I should represent you on this listing. And then the CMA is just the CMA portion only. So Dash CMA or the CMA builder within KV Core, these are going to be the CMA presentation only. So they're a portion of the meal, right? So you've got your whole meal bounty with the Core Present and the CMA portion alone, just with the CMA here or with Dash CMA.
So this just gives you a very, very basic
Yeah.
CMA. I always tell people this is almost like creating a computer generated evaluation.
Yeah, our
Of your
default one
property.
is, yes,
Yep.
for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the default one is kind of like the just getting started, gives you a basic analysis of what their property's worth. And it's designed to be a conversation starter. It's designed so that you
Foot
can
in the
send it
door.
out and say, hey, you know what, here's what a quick valuation of your property just based on the information I have at hand. But let me, go ahead and schedule an appointment with you to go and talk about what makes your property so valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you build it into the conversation from there. And that's where normally you would go and build your own CMA using the tools and resources that you have.
Yeah.
If you were to use Dash CMA, you could create that big picture pricing tool like I showed you through Core Present, but it's a little bit more limited. Let's see if I can win the listing. It's almost like just having the win the listing section here,
Yeah.
where you can build this. Versus Core Present is like the
whole
Lamborghini model,
enchilada.
right? That's got everything in it, and it's got the slides that you can modify. It's got the entire presentation. It's got the about me section, the bio section, the testimonial section. It's got an entire presentation built into it, and you can. There's one that's designated just for buyers. So if you have to have that really tough conversation with the buyer about why their offer is so low in a hot market like this, maybe do a report for them. If you're going out showing properties to somebody and you want to build a buyer tour and you've got 4 properties you're showing, you can enter the MLS ID numbers here and it'll populate it on the report and in a report fashion, and it will actually give you a buyer tour, something like this, that you can send out that helps reinforce the properties you're going to show with a actual aerial map that's numbered so that you know which ones you're going to see. Because let's face it, when you show a house by 4 o'clock, they don't remember what the kitchen looked like in house number 1. So you can now use this as a tool when you're out showing properties as well. So it's again, Core Present is kind of the Lamborghini of all of that. Does that help,
Yes.
Rosetta? I want to make sure you're clear about what those differences are. I think so. How does this look on a mobile phone? You know what? I've done this on my iPad. I don't think I've done it on
It
my
should
phone.
adjust for size.
It is mobilized, so it's
Yeah.
it's mobile friendly. I don't know if I do this on my phone. I guess you could.
I mean, you could view the report on your phone, but I
the
don't know if
presentation is fine, but on an iPad it looks great.
yeah,
did it
I
on my
don't know if
iPad.
Core Present's dialed in on the app as of yet, Dennis. But you can always open up your app and then click on the little hamburger, like the little 3 lines on the top left of your app. And if you have Core Present, it'll open up your desktop on your mobile device. And then you could create Core Present on your mobile. But I mean, to me, I get pickle fingers sometimes, as Kelly calls them.
Yeah.
So it might not be as easy to add in the details on your phone with all the fields and all that, but it could work.
Yeah. There's just some things I don't do on my phone. And I have one
Yeah.
of those big phones that's got a big screen.
Like
But
the old satellite phones.
you know what? I actually had
Your
a phone
brick.
that I had a brick that was soldered into my car, just so it shows you how
Oh.
old I was. I think I had one of the first mobile phones out there that weighed about 26 pounds.
And then is the Dash tool you're referring part of KV Core? So Dash CMA is part of our marketplace offerings. So you can see the standalone Dash CMA, which is in the marketplace
Well, in
and
marketing,
available.
you get the CMA builder. That's what
Right.
comes with KV Core.
Right.
This is the one that comes with KV Core. It's kind of just the basic getting started. And then in the marketplace, this is what Annalise is speaking to.
Right, the Dash CMA. So there's the regular CMA that's default, and then you can upgrade to Dash CMA, or you could go for the whole package suite of product with the presentation Dash CMA and everything else that comes with that via the brokerage down.
I must not have Dash CMA on mine.
It
Sometimes
depends,
I
yeah,
do.
dependent on the brokerage, that may or may not show.
Yeah. But if you'll know you have it if your broker opted into it, because either one of them will be in the marketing section. You'll see Dash CMA or Core Present will be right here in marketing.
Yeah.
But the one that comes with your KV Core straight out of the box, that's this one down here, the CMA builder, which is very different than actually Dash CMA at all.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand with the CMA builder you might see on the Sell tab of your website. It's the same type of report.
Yep, exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for giving me a few minutes out of your Thursday afternoon. I hope it was worth the price of admission. I know that next week we've got a few things coming up next week as far as product, but I know that Annalisa, I'll be out of town next week, and I think Ryan will too. So I'll refer to you to your experience on what to expect next week on Next Levels.
I will need to refer to Ryan.
I think he said that we're going to have products step in next week.
I think so. I haven't heard. So, because I've been head down working on reports and setups and coaching. So that's where I've been.
That's because you're a coaching guru. You're a machine.
Yeah, perhaps.
I know. If you've never used Annalisa for that setup service, man, that's pretty cool. All right. Well, in the meantime, there's still time left in the day to sell a house. So get off this webinar and go sell a house.
All right, everybody, and break.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.